I'm Old Head Ed.
And I'm Mr. Belief. And we like to welcome y'all to Barcodes. Barcodes is a podcast where we delve into the lyrics of your favorite MCs, verse by verse.
Each episode, we invite an artist onto the show,
break down their own bars, and give the listeners a deeper understanding of the meaning and inspiration behind their music.
From underground up-and-comers to established industry veterans.
We cover it all. So join us as we explore the art of emceeing and the stories behind the bars on Barcodes.
Yo, Barcodes. The podcast. What's good, my peoples? That's Belief on one end.
We back again.
I am Old Head Ed, and it's that time again. Another moment to sit down with an esteemed artist, and I'm using that word again. To sit down and break down what goes into the process of writing, the science of the bars. And this time around, we got someone who I don't know, man. I can't even talk right now.
Like, I'm lost of words right now. Yes. You know, we got definitely a heavy hitter that comes around from the same town that I'm from, Kendall, Florida. And yeah, man, right now we have one half of Northern Agony.
Yes, sir.
So we got Agony, the Secret Weapon, in the house.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So that stumble on the words was because last time I hung out with Agony in a home environment, there was a meal that was prepared, and it was to a degree where I was like, yo, like everything we had gone over during the Bruce Beats and Eats episode, I actually saw it manifest. Like it was real life. It was like this. Oh shit, yo! He said he could cook, and then I was able to. The proof was in the pudding, bro.
And I told him too. I told him. I said that was that episode was during COVID. And I said, once this dies down, I'm gonna invite you over so you can get a taste of it. So
and that happened. That happened.
Bet.
And the cooking doesn't stop in the kitchen. This man wears many hats. Does a little bit of everything. You might catch him on the production tip, shooting videos, and nothing. Without mentioning anything else. I mean, the raps are there.
Yes, they are.
Two albums, two projects called The Open Buffet. Okay, that says a lot. That says a lot.
Sprinkling that chef shit into the music, yo. Open buffet, yo. Come over here and come get some, nigga.
Yeah, and it's I've always liked it because it's a combination of the fact that I don't have projects necessarily have like a certain cohesiveness, so to speak, like with a certain sound that I would say is consistent across the project, because I just like variations, and I always feel like different tempos or different drum lines and sounds and stuff like that just bring out different raps, so, and also different features. So, the combinations, everything I've been doing there is just to be able to do that and give you like a sprinkle of everything to spread it across, like the buffet. You pick what you like and you walk away from what you don't.
All right.
It's an ill concept, and the fact that we're talking about open buffet. This first one we're going to get into is the intro.
Yes,
the intro to Open Buffet 2, right?
Open Buffet 2.
Word. Yeah, the second one. I'm excited about this one because this is one that kind of it like most intros, everybody puts it together an intro, but doesn't always set the tone for it, or doesn't leave you like wanting more. It's just like, okay, it's just the obligatory first track on some albums. But you're very efficient with your intros.
I try to do something that's gonna kind of set the tone for whatever the listeners are gonna be going through, over the course of the project, and also kind of give people a mindset of kind of where I am in my mental space when all this was happening. So, I believe it or not, most of my intros are usually, well, not even most, for the two projects, the intros have been the last tracks that I've recorded. So I can collectively see what I've put together and say, all right, so how do I,
how do you wrap the summarize?
How do I bring you into what you're about to go through? And that's kind of been the way things have worked out.
Makes sense completely.
That being said, you mentioned frame of mind. Belief usually has a question.
Yeah, I always ask every artist this, and it's do you remember when and where you were at when you created this verse on the intro? Also, what kind of mindset were you in, and what more or less motivated you or inspired you to write the verse, or what helped you within the bars?
So the beat itself, I had for a while already. I had even you know, you're part of the project, so you know that kind of the way it works out is that when I reach out to somebody that's going to be a part of it, I usually send them a few productions and have them choose, you know, what they gravitate to, let them run with it, and then I kind of just follow suit. And this beat was on a few of the reels that I had sent out to a few people, and nobody bid on it. And when it was time to do the intro, I was just thinking about something that was, I just happened to be in my whip one day and fumbling through the beats, and then this one came on, and I've always felt that it had like this nice grit to it, it's knocked. And I said, you know what, I think this would be a nice way to kind of just bring this in. Like the Open Buffet one had a very melodic, like slow, almost like I don't know. It's just a very smooth vibe to the beginning, and this one I wanted to come in with something from the get that was gonna grab people, and
like a hard hitting track to set the tone.
When I got that, and then it was just one of those where I was in the whip and it came on, and I was like, you know what, the horns in the beginning, that's a nice way to bring it in. Like my hair's even stand up just thinking about when I was hearing it, and then like those first few lines came to me, I was like, it's AGO back in the ground. I was like, all right, this is it. Like it's time to run with it.
So it just clicked. Like sometimes beats do that. Like sometimes you'll hear a beat and it's just like that right time and that right moment, and you're like, oh yeah, this is it.
Yeah. So it was. I remember I was just believe it or not, most of my writing now happens in my car because one, I don't sit down to write raps, right?
Yeah.
So what I do is that I write them in segments. So while I'm on my way to the grocery store running errands and stuff, if there's something I'm working on, I'll throw on the beat and I'll come up with what I'm going to come up with. And then just due to the fact that my memory doesn't work for me like it used to, I will either do voice notes or write them down after the fact.
Yeah.
But, while I'm writing, it's usually just me and the whip in my headspace. So that's why I was sitting there, it just came to me. And then afterwards, I actually finished it off in the studio. I got about halfway through in the car and then got back into the house and said, look, I got this. I'm feeling it right now. You get in that zone space and just knocked it out. And from there, the beauty of having your own equipment, it goes from there. Like, all right, let's open the laptop, put this thing to record, and let's get it going and get it done. And yeah, so it was very, very easy. It got just one of those verses that just like came to me. It was beautiful.
True.
Yeah, I'm excited. Like I said before, I'm excited to get into this one, definitely. Before we give this one a go, who produced the joint?
I did.
There you go.
Dang. All right.
Yeah. Remember, for both of my Open Buffet projects, they're entirely produced by me, and then I like to bring in the features so that basically I'm the one on the productions. I do the mixing. I put everything together, and it's just I've always been that ever since we were younger. It's always been if there's anything we could find how to do ourselves, like
do it.
Just get it done,
Especially with YouTube University out there, I've learned a lot of shit, bro.
Yeah, man. Let me tell you, there's nothing you can't figure out that you can't just say, how do I do this? And there's like a bunch of articles that you can look up and play around and get creative with it.
And now they got AI that just do it for you.
It's crazy.
Bugged out. Yo, so let's get into it. The rundown is usually we have the artists go through a couple of bars. Since they're the ones that wrote it, they're the ones that recited and rehearsed. We let you give it a go because we've been known to butcher bars.
Yeah, we try to have like the artists do either like 2 or 4 bar sentences because any longer it's harder to like break down.
Break it down.
So let's give it a go.
All right, so I think I have my notes here broken down, kind of how I figure we could chop it up.
Okay.
So we'll start off with this one. So it says, it's AGO, back on the grill primo. Meat that is grade A, put you back in the flames, eat those. Bars that are charred perfectly. Marks that'll scar hurt MCs. Feelings of uncertainty. Y'all insecurities work for me.
Okay.
All right. We'll stop there.
Yeah. So off the top, you're the first 3 letters of the name.
Yeah, it's
going
AGO.
AGO.
Yeah, so that's a go.
That's pretty, and it's a go. Both
exactly.
of them fall into place. Back on the grill, primo, meat that is grade A, put you back in the flames, eat those. Like I said, I mentioned it earlier, the cooking skills are there. So it seems like you're correlating writing rhymes, putting together a song with the capabilities of being able to cook things up.
Yeah, what I tried to do throughout this verse, and you'll keep hearing notes of it, was to tie in that concept of a buffet kind of themed verse where, any correlation to anything I'm doing is kind of either to the kitchen or something to do with cooking or things of that nature. And that's kind of what that was in, like, just making the reference to, like, grade A meat being also like grade A rap. You know what I'm saying? So,
and grade A.
Yeah.
For Agony.
There you go.
Yeah. I feel it. Okay. Dope. You want to throw
All
in
right,
the,
so
a
yeah,
hand
so
there?
all right, so when it goes you're doing the reference to like food and whatnot for buffets. So it's like bars that are charred perfectly makes that marks that'll scar hurt MCs. So like when you throw a beef on the grill, you know, they get charred. So I guess that's referencing heat, you know what I'm saying, and flames and I get it. And the feeling, now this is the one I want to know. Goes feelings of uncertainty, your insecurities work for me.
Yes.
All right, so break that down like.
So, you know, for a lot of heads out there, like I feel like they carry themselves in a way that, and what I'm trying to play off on this one is the fact that, you know, to come at heads with heat and with bars that are gonna put them in a place that's gonna make them second guess, you know, their ability to be in the same space at somebody in my caliber. And you're going to hear me speak very cocky about this verse because that's also, there's a certain arrogance that I had when I was writing this, and you kind of hear it in some of the other bars we're going to go through here.
So that's the mindset you were in, that
yeah,
like,
it was like
this isn't,
fuck it. This isn't about
shit.
being humble right now.
Yeah.
You know, this is like, I've been here for a minute and I'm going to let y'all know, you know, what it is that I do.
All right.
And you know, and then basically like having that, I'm saying like y'all insecurities work for me because the fact that you're insecure about yourself and then me putting that pressure, that's going to make people back down even more. So that's a benefit to me. Like if you ain't sure about your skill set, then this ain't the place for you.
There's a possibility that you might take yourself out of contention just because you're insecure about what you're presenting.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're afraid to compete. You ain't gonna compete.
Yeah. So that's a benefit to me.
It works for you. Okay.
Absolutely.
Fresh. Yeah. All right. We're already off to a hell of a start.
Hell yeah. So we're gonna go into the next stanza of bars. Recite. I think it starts with "You keep doubting me."
Okay. So here it says, "You keep doubting me. Trust me, I keep outing these haters who keep pouting. They mad because they need clout and they getting none from the city. Mainly because they all shitty. I've chose those to run with me. Believe I'm done with the pity."
All right, so this kind of like the whole bar. From what I get from this is that it's kind of a tie back from that last line that you just said.
Correct.
The insecurities, where it's like, yo, I'm not going to show you any pity for any of that. You know, you're going to be left behind. That's on you.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying, I'm here to win. That's what I get from that verse right there. What about you, Ed?
Same, yeah, and just reading into the lines, it there's a heavy presence of, it kind of tackles, to me, it seems like it tackles artists who they get to a point where they feel if they're not getting the recognition, they start going in all different directions trying to get that somehow, whether it's, you know, hating on somebody else.
Clout chasing.
Clout chasing, yeah. Because then, you know, they feel like, all right, we're going to get this one way or the other. And if the city's not showing them the recognition, it's to what lengths do they go?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And this is something that's not just like in the local scene, like in music in general. There's a lot of times where people use that, what I like to call the wrestling promo, where before they drop an album, they have to kind of stir something up, just to kind of bring eyes and attention their way before this thing drops. And it's marketing and all that other stuff. And you know, it's
in a lot of entertainment.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck it, it's in politics, dog. It's in everything. Yeah,
exactly. But I'm getting a lot of that through there. And yeah, man. I mean, you know, that's where you. I see that's where you find yourself.
Now, in the first line, it says, "You keep doubting me." Trust me, I'll keep outing these haters who keep pouting. They mad because they need clout. So like, do you feel like when you said they keep doubting you, like in your times here in you've had a long run in Miami. Do you feel like you've encountered that a lot? A lot of people doubt or whatnot? Because I'll tell you, you know, from my perception, ever since I've met you in North, like, there was no doubt, like, of the skill levels that were there. So, like, I'm just curious to know if that's common that you've come across or anything like that, since you mentioned it in the verse.
No, it is. Believe it or not, like, it's no secret. There's a lot of rappers out there.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And there's also a lot of talent. And you know, one thing is that, you know, depending on people's flavors and I guess what they're looking for, like certain names come up in certain conversations, and I think this was kind of also like a jab at the fact that sometimes, like, my name may not necessarily be one that comes up as frequently as I felt that it should when I was writing this verse. Like I said, this is going to be a very arrogant episode. I hope I'm going to look into the camera and say this does not reflect the direct intentions of who I normally am as a person.
Okay.
But I'm speaking to the verse and where I was when I was writing this, and you know, I even
you in your bag, bro. That's all it is.
Yeah. So this was one of those. I was like, you know what? Like I'm letting it all out. So you know, because of that, that's where that kind of like you keep doubting me keeps coming out. And to me, a lot of that I think sometimes has to come just. You know, not to be cocky about it, but again, it's a cocky verse. There's a lot of haters out there. Like they'll be like, nah, you know what I'm saying? Whatever. Like I ain't feeling too much, whatever the case is, because, you know, they feel like if they do show any type of credit or if they do show any type of support, it's like they feel like they jumping on a bandwagon or whatnot. And, you know, and it ain't even about that. But that's kind of where that came from.
I've seen, you know, that kind of attitude is prevalent all across everywhere, where a lot of people, especially in Miami, where it's like, for some reason, people feel, at least back in the day, they felt like if you show love to another artist or whatever, it's like somehow lessening, you know, your status, which didn't make sense. You know what I'm saying? Like now in the Miami scene specifically, it's like since you see these events that we're all together now, it's like more of a community kind of sense. But yeah, let's go to the next bar.
All right. So again, that humble shit's played out, like that mumble rap phased out. Cocky's the new classy, letting my balls hang out. Beat on my chest frequently. Don't even attempt to speak to me. Thinking you're as elite as me and not even close to compete with me.
Okay.
That's super braggadocious right there. Like,
yes,
fuck
it
is.
Nigga. Yes, it is.
Motherfuckers.
And to me, it seems like, and you correct me if I'm wrong, it's a little bit of a throwback to your partner in rhyme, one of the several members of Common Ground, Shotty. Shotty was also someone who was pushing or, you know, waving the flag of that humble shit's played out. Like this is time to let people know who we are and why we're here and why we're in this position that we are. So to me, it seems like it makes sense for y'all to be as close as y'all are, having projects together, you know, coming up through, you know, through the same times, and you find yourself like you've adapted that because you see it.
And it's funny you say that because that particular line. Actually came from something like that. So like one of Shotty's previous projects was very motivational. And then there was I forget where it was either a post or something he said somewhere where he was like, all right, you know, it's not about motivation anymore, like we out to get it. And believe it or not, when I was coming up here, I had kind of that in my mind where I was like, you know what, I really spoke to that. I was like, you know what, fuck that. I said the humble shit's done. Like humble's not going to get you anywhere in this game. You know, everybody knows that unless you feel that you could be better than the next one, then this isn't really a game for you. You know, you got to be able to take it as much as you could dish it. But if I felt that everybody was better than me, then there's no reason for me to be in the game. Like I feel that I got to be just as good as you or even better if I'm going to keep doing this shit.
True.
So
Iron sharpens iron, right?
Yeah. And then you get into it, beat on my chest frequently, don't even attempt to speak to me. Now you're a very approachable person. But to me, it seems like in this context, like you said earlier, we're not dealing with just day by day agony. Like this is the agony on his bag, like Believe said. Yeah. So it's like, is it more along the lines of like, yo, the conversation I'm not gonna continue this conversation when you're approaching me and not have acquired like a skill level that I feel is in the range. And
that's facts, because actually that it ties in a little bit, like at the end of the previous ones we were talking about where it says, I've chose those to run with me, believe I'm done with the pity. It's, you know, I'm one of those that was like, if anybody was reaching out and they were down to do some work, I'm like, all right, fuck it, why not? You know what I'm saying? I don't know you, I don't know what you have. You have 2 followers, you have 15,000, who doesn't matter. Like I'm in there, but I've gotten into a space where I got so much going on in my life between just personal and still trying to do this music shit as an outlet that, like, I have my circle now. That's not to say it's a close circle, but I have my circle, and it's a tight circle of skilled and talented individuals that I enjoy working with because we're moving in the same progress, right? So, you know, if for somebody that's not there, like that's what I'm saying. Like, don't bother coming my way if you want some other shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I have my circle. So unless you're really there, and like I said, thank you as a leader, me, and not even close competing. Like you're trying to come to me and get things done when you're nowhere near my level of skill, and I'm not going to let myself be used to jump on your project to elevate your project. Like either we're elevating each other, and you're going to help me as much as I'm helping you, but because unless you're going to pay me at that point, then I'm not doing shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we actually talked about that in one of the episodes where it's like I broke it down where it's like, yo, you know, sometimes there has to be a compensation for time. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Unless you have that skill level where it's like both of you are benefiting from the collaboration or the song or whatever the case may be. So yeah, I definitely
like
understand
cross promotional or something like that. And again, but the cross promotional needs to be. And again, I don't have 1 million followers or shit, even 1,000. But you know, I feel like I have my rep that people know about. And if you know me, you know my music, and you enjoy it, you know that I'm coming correct. And that if you ask me to bless a track for you, it's gonna get blessed. And that's something that I hold in high regard for myself. Like, I'm not gonna give you a half-ass rap. If I say, yo, let's do this shit, I'm going to sit there and I'm going to take my time and I'm going to do what I feel is going to be the perfect bars and the perfect cadence and the perfect flow for that particular project, and whatever the theme is, I stick to it. I don't try to go, like, I'm very, very meticulous with the way that I write and with the things that I do, sometimes to a fault because it slows me down. But yeah, if we ain't in that same shit, then, you know what I'm saying, just be about yourself and
just keep it moving. Yeah.
Right. With that being said, let's get into the next 4.
Yeah, so then at this point of the verse, I felt like I was getting a little bit too harsh. So I guess that's where these lines came from, where it says, I should chill, put these bars in the rocks, grab rocks from the bar and empty out a bottle of scotch. The drunken chef watch me as I concoct. I'm a master of my class. Y'all fuckers could barely manage a mop. So, I felt like I should chill a little bit, and then I went right back into it. Like,
yeah, that didn't last long at all.
The thing is, you got drunk, though. You were like, yo.
I took a shot.
That nigga's like, yo, I gotta chill. He drinking. He's like, no, fuck him.
Break time's over.
So
okay, that's pretty much self-explanatory.
Yeah, that's what that was. That was like an intermission.
It's
for
a
like
reprieve
a brief
from
moment. Let me slow down. Let me have a drink. And I was like, like we said, fuck it.
Oh man, and of course, going back to my statement earlier, where that got me stuck for words, is you definitely can chef it up. So now you got some liquor in your system. You're still gonna cook up something flavor, what you're concocting, and then master the class. And the opposite, the comparison of that is most cats can't even manage to push them up around.
Exactly.
Compared to what all the other things that you put together. Okay, dope. Let's get into the next 4.
All right, next one. All right, so it says, whereas I produce, write, mix, design, I film, edit, that still don't define my skill sets. Has to be like that's you. You need your drywall fixed, shit, I could do that too. And for those that seen in the video, that wasn't fake. The drywall that you saw was being done, that was work that I did with my brother. He helped me out a little bit, but that was basically just to get the framing up for the side, because that's one stuff.
The video for this song, for this
particular song,
that
was on purpose. Like, at that point in the video, I throw back and, like, you need your drywall fixed. Like, that was actual work that I was working on. Like,
and it was timed perfectly, by the way.
Yeah, on purpose.
When you guys went there and the camera angle, and you're like, yo, I could fix that too. That was a dope ass song.
Yeah, the whole thing. It was a tricky shoot to make, because my son, shout out to Moppy for helping me out, and. It was time, because it was one of those. There was no edits there. That was one and done. Like,
one take.
We had to get shit going and make sure that it flowed. And we actually were able to do that within the third take, which was pretty cool. But prior to bringing him in, again, me being the meticulous person that I am, I'm doing my walkthrough and practicing. Like, all right, we should have it. Gotcha. But yeah, going back to the actual verse, that's just basically me. Just again beating on my chest about all the different things that I do. And it's, like I said from before, like, I'm not going to pay somebody to do something that I could potentially and technically do on my own. Yeah. It may not be the best shit, but at the same time, like, you have, like, some people are like, oh, but just, you can shoot this person $250 and they could get you real dope artwork. And it's like, you know what I could do with $250? So
I hear you. It's like you're exhibiting that you're a Renaissance man, that you have a lot of skill sets. And, I feel you on that, like, where if you could do it yourself, you might as well just do it yourself and learn how to do it. Like, a kind of a metaphor that I would do is like, I cut hair, so it's like, I'd rather fuck my hair up than have somebody else fuck my hair up. You know what I'm saying? Because I could live with my mistake here, because I know I made it. Yeah. But I don't know how to explain it, but that's kind of the mindset.
I cut hair too. That's and like all right. Matter of fact, I'm there's gonna be like one of my first gigs. It was at shout out to Fat Fades. Was at Fat Fades when I was an actual barber, and I would cut hair there, and I cut my own hair, and I cut head, whatever. Again, another thing that you can add to the repertoire stuff. But I feel you, like, it's one of those. Even when I do things around the house or when I do things on my own, I'm okay with a certain level of error or imperfections, because of the fact that I'm like, all right, I don't do that for a living. That's not the only thing that I do, so I'm okay with it. Yeah. But part of my beef is that sometimes if I pay somebody to come to my house and do a job or do something for me, like either lay down tile or anything, I'm like, if you do it at a point where I feel like I could have done it better, then it's a problem because this is all that you do, you know? So again, you know, I'm willing for somebody to come and be like, oh, what happened here? Like, oh, no, you know, I had a little bit of trouble, you know, with that cut or whatnot. Then they'll turn and say, you did that shit? I'm like, yeah, I did. Like, oh, wow, you did all this? Like, yeah, whether it be tiling or cabinetry, whatever the case is. Like, you know, that kitchen that you saw me filming, and I had that all gutted out. The only thing I didn't do in that kitchen was the granite. I had somebody come and bring that in. Okay. The tiling, the baseboards, the cabinetry, building those cabinets all came in a pallet. I built them, mounted them, the whole nine. So, like I said, there's a lot that, you know, that people say that, you know, my mother-in-law calls me mil usos, which means a million uses.
There you go. Yeah.
Or 1,000 uses.
1,000 uses, yeah. And it brings us right into that next line. I mean, that you encapsulated it already.
Yes, which says, "Ain't much that I can't do on a streak where I can't lose. I'm the one rolling the dice, yet the odds are against you. So you do as you choose, but continue to peruse. That smoke you looking for is me cooking up beef stew."
All right, so that's referencing the, you know, the going back to the open buffet kind of thing.
Yes.
Cooking up the beef stew. Yeah, this one kind of like, you know, goes back to everything that we were just saying, you know what I mean, where you're like the Renaissance man and it's like there's not much that you can't do. As you can see, you know, I'm the one rolling the dice, yet the odds are against you. All right. So you do as you choose, but continue to peruse. All right. Yeah. The smoke you're looking for is me cooking up beef stew. So like basically from what I get to that is like, yo, I do a lot of shit, and if you want smoke, come get it. You know what I'm saying? I'm cooking beef stew right here. That's open buffet.
Exactly. It was a tie-in to that, you know, and then that's why it's like the whole thing of, you know, everybody knows the concept of, you know, you're looking for the smoke, what that means, and basically a tie-in to beef stew with the open buffet, but beef, we all know what that goes to back in the day, you know what I'm saying, as far as if you're looking for it, then and that's what I'm cooking up for you, you know what I'm saying?
So you're using two different slang terminologies to describe the same thing, which is a newer version of it, which is the smoke. Beef is what it was back. I mean, the beef is still used nowadays, but it's more something where we came up using that term as for conflict, friction, so on and so forth. And that's the thing is that, so it seems like, so you do as you choose, meaning that other person that you refer, you know, MC, whoever, you still do that and you still choose and at whatever quality, and you still make it a point to trying to look for something that's probably not in your best interest, which is the smoke and the beef.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you could do what you want. You know what I'm saying? But if you continue to go down a certain path, that path that you're looking for is basically going to lead you up to what I'm stirring up in the kitchen, which may not necessarily work in your best benefit.
Yes, definitely.
Unless you come in and eat at the table and you're going to love it.
Well,
and that happens too.
And that brings us to the next line where he says, shit, I got plates.
Exactly. So it says, shit, I got plates that'll serve all palates. Fuck what you heard, player, knock your game off balance. Kick you to the curb rap. See my words, pure malice. It's a wonderland you live in and guessing that you're Alice. So.
All right, so.
Yeah, bring that back.
Those last couple of lines. I don't know if you realize what you did there. All right, so you say, see my words are pure malice. It's a wonderland you're living in. Guess that you're Alice. Mm-hmm. When I heard that right away, I thought it took me back to Kim and Little C's.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. And then there's a line where
it's my diner.
I'm Mel and you're Alice.
Yeah.
Which also ties it back to the cooking thing. Like Mel's diner, Mel's with the chef. Alice was one of the. This is old like 70s reference that I'm bringing up. Not that Ag brought up, that I'm bringing up, but I like the fact that you're bringing back something that also has to do with the kitchen, but you're also tying it into a fictitious world that's Alice in Wonderland.
Correct.
Bro, shouts. That's why you got the rewind. Bro.
No, and that's dope that you picked up on it because it did go that deep. That wasn't a mistake. Frankly, it did. When it came together, it wasn't with that intent. Like, I didn't sit there and I didn't think of Mel's Diner first and then think of the Little C's line. What happened was that when I got to the first initial thing was just the whole Alice in Wonderland. So you know, it's a wonderland you live in, you know, fantasy. I'm guessing that you're Alice. And then I was like, why do I feel like I've heard something like this before? And I'm like, all right, it's my diner. I'm Mel, and I'm like, oh shit, then that's a perfect throwback because it came from Little C's line, but he's talking about Mel's Diner, which ties into Open Buffet, and I was like, and that's why I chose to keep it. I was like, it actually is a perfect a perfect wraparound. If anybody would catch reference to that and say, "Oh, well, that sounds like what Little C says," like, yeah, but if you think about it, that's why I went with it. So that's dope that you picked up on that.
Excellent,
yeah,
fresh.
All right, so right now we're at just pure fantasy.
Correct. All right. So it says, just pure fantasy, shit goes over your head. Me, pure agony, like off with his head. Reality is you lack the skills to cause any dread, while my bars will pierce your heart and make this cough in your bed.
Going back to the Alice in Wonderland, off with their head, a quotable from the Queen, okay, and then the fantasy. You're still explaining to them that you're dealing in a world that's fantasy.
Correct. That's a play off of the last.
Because they're in Wonderland. And he's like, reality is that you lack the skills to cause any dread. Like you got no threat.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So off with your head.
That's it. While my bars will pierce through your heart. She was the Queen of Hearts, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bomb. So that's the okay. Yeah. It makes this cough in
you
your
pick
bed.
up on a lot of stuff.
No, he does, yo. Like he does.
Listen, man.
Sometimes I'm like, bro, why am I here, dog?
He picks up on a lot of shit, man. Let me tell you,
He's definitely
he
definitely catches some shit, man.
Because those are subtle things that, like, you know, as a writer, you put in, and you know, people will get the punchline, but some of those like in betweens and the build-ups, it's like it's more for you to know, like, yo, that was dope. You don't expect people to be like, yo, that piece in between, like, it's rare, but yo, you on point, bro.
We've mentioned it. We've kind of, you know, we brought it up in previous episodes where it's like the work you guys put in to put these things together.
Yeah. And
I've said it before. Of people, you know, MCs of quality. You know what I'm saying? The work, it deserves that. Like, I don't know, does it deserve that? But also, it's like to me, it's a sign of respect. Where it's like, yo, I know that they're trying to tell me something else within here, so pay attention. So yeah, man, it's a pleasure of mine just to get into these rhymes like that, yo.
And that's why we're here to celebrate it. You know what I'm saying? And catch those little intricacies. I always have trouble with that fucking word. The killer word for me, but I'm practicing, y'all. I'm practicing. But yeah, like we want to bring that out for people to. That's why we have people here. So
they could tell us if we missed something too.
No,
which that happens too.
That happens a lot too. Yeah. You know, but we're here to bring it out so people could honor the verses that the artist put the work in for. You know what I'm saying?
Let me tell you, I know I told you when you first mentioned after I saw this, and we were talking about it earlier, like this platform here is a really cool idea and a dope concept to bring people on, to be able to break down the stuff, because I mean I do feel that not within our network, you know, because we're all into it, but I do feel that the artistry of breaking down somebody's verses, or us back in the day when we would open up an album and they'd had the lyrics there and you were listening and like picking things apart. It's not there anymore for some of the newer generations, you know. So like being able to have these conversations and listen to you having with other people, like this is really dope. I'm really excited about what you guys are doing.
Thank you, man.
Greatly appreciate it.
We thank you for even jumping on the podcast.
Yeah, that
us,
means a lot.
I was excited, man, when y'all reached out and I was like, "What's this about?" And you told me, I was like, "Oh, I'm on it." Just tell me when.
It was like 3 seconds after I told him. He's like, "Yeah, I'm in.
Yeah,
let's do it." I was like, "Dang, chill."
Just tell me when and where.
So we got the cleanup bar. This the last bar of the verse.
Yes. So it says, "Yup, it's a slaughter. You can no longer pretend. It's do or die. Your facade has come to its end. I'm not constructive. I'm slaying those who offend. I got an appetite for destruction. The buffet is open again."
I was about to say, I'm like,
actually,
that was the wrong one.
That was the wrong one.
It kind of fit, though.
It kind of fit, though. It was,
but it was supposed
I ain't mad at it.
It was supposed to be. Drop
the mic drop.
Yeah,
I think I like the other one better. The mic drop is like it's like something broke. The other one's like
it's like yo, something came loose. Like reconnect that.
You know, that's like the soap opera moment. Like he's who?
Maria.
If it wasn't for you meddling kids,
you know.
But all right, so this is basically the wrap up of it, and it was like your this whole verse was about the intro to your project, Open Buffet. So it's kind of bringing it back from the first one, saying, "Hey, it's open again. Like y'all come and get the pickings. You know what I'm saying? Pick what you like, whatever the case. But this is all chef gourmet shit that I'm supplying for you."
Correct.
Yeah, and there's still remnants. There's still traces of that fantasy world. The Alice in Wonderland. You can no longer pretend. And it's a slaughter that's official. You can no longer pretend. Do or die, your facade, which is that whole fantasy that you're living in, has come to an end, as well as this verse is coming to an end. Yeah, man, that's pretty dope because it's the tiebacks that we've discussed in previous episodes where there's a hint of something coming back just to kind of put that nice ribbon on the whole thing.
Yeah, and then you still got all the concepts of like the whole, cooking up and stuff like that with, the slaughter and stuff like that, which, obviously if you're going to get good meat, you have to go to the freaking slaughterhouse, the appetite for destruction. It was kind of a really good, tie-in and stuff like that. Like the whole, I'm not constructive, I'm slaying those who offend, which is like, I'm not going to be, like I said, again, with the arrogance behind this one, the idea behind that line is also about saying like, I'm not here to give you constructive criticism. Like if you're whack, you're whack. Like period. Like there's not. Yeah. I'm not here to give you tidbits on how to make you better. You got to figure that shit yourself. Yeah. You know? So I'm gonna say it was a very like going back to how this whole thing started. Like what headspace I was in. Like it was a very like all right. I'm gonna be the asshole on this one, and I'm gonna own it.
Yeah.
Well, we got another one.
Yes, sir. Agony 305. That's the IG, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm Agony 305 on most platforms, whether you like YouTube or IG or Facebook or Twitter, which I'm not on Twitter much. That's kind of chaotic for me, but I'm on IG more than anything. If you want to catch what I do and you want to connect or whatever the case is, if you feel you can connect with me at the level that I'm at, and I'm just
he's like, hold on, talk your shit, man. Talk your shit.
Talk about it.
About it. Yes.
But yeah, no, at Agony 305 on streaming platforms though, you want to look for Agony the Secret Weapon because that way you'll find anything that I've been associated with or any of the projects that I've put out. So
and Open Buffet 2 is out right now, right?
Yeah, Open Buffet 2 is out there, and I got plenty of other stuff. My 9 to 5 is out there. The first Open Buffet, Agony and His Amazing Friends has a lot of other older stuff and everything. And if you're into hip hop in general, again, not to continue to beat on my chest, but in the spirit of what we've been talking about here, like the playlist can go way back, and it's got flavors for everybody. There's got to be something that you're gonna like. So
I attest to that. Yo, Believe. This is usually where we tell them to subscribe, comment, rate, do all of that, share, let your people know.
All that shit that's down here, bro.
At the bottom.
Do all that shit.
Word.
All right, we'll catch you next time on Barcodes.
That's what's up.
Peace.
It's AGO, back in the grill primo. Meat that is grade A, put you back in the flames. Eat those bars that are charred perfectly. Marks that'll scar her MC's feelings of uncertainty. Got insecurities work for me. You keep doubting me, trust me, I keep outing these haters who keep pouting. They mad cause they need clout and they getting none from the city. Mainly cause they all shitty. I chose those to run with me. Believe I'm done with the pity. That humble's just played out like that mumble rap phased out. Cocky's the new classy, letting my balls hang out. Beat on my chest frequently, don't even attempt to speak to me, thinking you're as elite as me and not even close to compete with me. I should chill, put these bars on the rocks, grab rocks from the bar and empty out a bottle of scotch. The drunken chef watch me as I concoct. I'm a master of my craft, y'all fuckers could barely manage a mop. Whereas I produce, write, mix, design. I film, edit, that still don't define my skill set. Has be like that's you. You need your drywall fixed, shit I can do that too. Ain't much that I can't do on a streak where I can't lose. I'm the one rolling the dice, yet the odds are against you. So you do as you choose, but continue to peruse. That smoke you looking for is me cooking a beef stew. Shit, I got plates that'll serve all palates. Fuck what you heard, player, knock your game off balance. Kick you to the curb rap. See my words pure malice? It's a wonderland you living in, guessing that you're Alice. Just pure fantasy, shit goes over your head. Me, pure agony, like off with his head. Reality is you lack the skills to cause any dread. While my bars will pierce your heart and make this cough in your bed. Yup, it's a slaughter you can no longer pretend. Nope, it's do or die, your facade has come to its end. Yup, I'm not constructive, I'm slaying those who offend. I got an appetite for destruction, the buffet's open again.